Just so you understand, I never mentioned the word or the name Israel. Never mentioned it during that conversation. They were all saying I did. So you had another story wrong. Never mentioned the word Israel.
How's the visit so far, Mr. President?
Of course, Joe, no one ever said that the president mentioned Israel in that meeting with the Russians. The focus was on the actual secrets he was spilling to Moscow. And National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster has said that Trump never actually knew the source.
Yeah, Mike Barnacle, if you are scoring at home and you're trying to figure out, trying to divide the actions between malicious and just plain out stupid, you can put this on the stupid side. This is like the husband that runs down to the police station and says, hey, my wife's missing, and it's not my gun. That's at the bottom of the pond in the back of our house by her body. And the police are like, hold on one second. We're going to cuff you to the radiator here. We need to go check your pond. I mean, admitting to something that nobody charged him of, and yet in so doing revealed himself as the jackass that leaked top secret Israeli intel. By the way, intel about somebody on the inside of a terror organization that killed 20 little girls and their mothers last night.
Well, that remains to be seen, Joe, but you're probably right on that. But it's the artful way that the president does this. Prime Minister Netanyahu speaks to the intelligence gathering of both nations, says it's never been better, and then President Trump pauses, reflects for a second, holds his hands up, and then implicates himself by mentioning Israel. And the aspect of this, and we just saw it with the Ron Dermer clip, and you see it, and you watch Netanyahu's reaction, and you're just wondering.
By the way, Mike, let me ask you again on the malicious or stupid scale. Again, file that under just plain stupid. Do you know anybody of driving age that does not know that Israel is in the Middle East?
No.
How can you be 70 years old, almost 71 years old, President of the United States, and not know that Israel is in the Middle East?
You know, we were just talking about the president in terms of his reactions and his statements. Is it part Captain Quigg? Is it part John Gotti? We now have to ask how much a part of it is Chauncey Gardner, because that's where we are on this. I mean, Israel has been in the Middle East for quite some time.
Actually, Mika, a combination between Chauncey Gardner and Lloyd Christmas. I mean, I think we're moving from being there to Dumb and Dumber very quickly.
Well,
anyway, so Mika, I just want you to know that later today I am leaving Connecticut, and I am going up to Boston. And when I'm in Boston, I'm going to let my Red Sox fans know that I just came back from New England. And boy, the weather was bad there.
All right.
Jeez.
It would
Lloyd
be funny.
Christmas, look it up.
New reporting says President Trump not only pushed James Comey to squash the Russia investigation, but he also leaned on the head of the NSA and the director of national intelligence. Joe, this appears to be closing in on President Trump. I understand that Mueller has a major investigation before him, and there are many more details to come out. But what are we looking at right now?
Well, what we're looking at is a president and many people around the president who seem to be putting up neon signs pointing to this investigation, saying, double down here. Look, we have done something terribly wrong because the President of the United States would not demand from the FBI director 3 times that he kill the investigation into the President of the United States colluding with the Russians. You would not have the President calling the director of national intelligence and saying, help me kill this investigation against me. You wouldn't have the President of the United States calling the head of the NSA saying, help me kill this investigation against me. That's exactly what Richard Nixon did when he tried to get the CIA to stop the investigations into Watergate. We're not saying that this is Watergate, and we're not saying that Donald Trump is Richard Nixon, but there is an awful lot of smoke that's going up. And it's so important to remember, because things have come at us so quickly over the past 4 or 5 months. It's important to keep all of this in context. This phase of the Russian scandal, and you can start calling it a scandal now when you have the President of the United States going to the head of every intel agency and telling them to kill an investigation that may be criminal against him. But that's Act 2. Act 1 is going through the long list of people who now work for Donald Trump in some of the most powerful positions in Washington, D.C., who lied under oath or who failed under oath to, in written forms, to actually lay out their contacts with Russian officials, Russian bankers, Russian business interests, time and time and time again. Mika, maybe where there's smoke, there's not fire. But I think Bob Mueller and most of the people in the FBI understand you would not put yourself in this much political jeopardy. No. You would not break every norm of Washington. You would not brag on national television about killing an investigation that was putting pressure on you, unless you had something to hide, unless you weren't, quite frankly, very, very intelligent in how you're going about this. So we'll see what happens. But yesterday's bombshells, you just have to add them to everything else that's happened over the past 4 months. It paints a very bleak picture for the innocence of this White House.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.